It's a depth chart deep dive, Jarom.
Put on your scuba gear.
Let's go. Let's go. Frankly, not that many surprises.
Yes.
Because BYU is a loaded, experienced team, but there are a few little nuanced things that we absolutely should discuss, which leads me to my first question for you, Jarom. What's your number one takeaway from the depth chart that BYU Football released yesterday?
I can't believe Jacob Conover's the starter at quarter.
What?
Okay, no fullbacks listed. Okay. I thought the fullback was a big deal this year with Houston, Haymuli and company. But yeah, he's definitely in the mix there. Not a lot of surprises on the offensive line, although right guard says Joe Tukuafu or Campbell Barrington. I believe Harris LaChance will be the starting right guard. And then right tackle says Harris LaChance or Kingsley Suamatia or Braden Keim. I believe Kingsley Suamatia will be the starting right guard when BYU rolls out there. Defensively, I really miss the Frodo position that was there 2 years ago. I don't know why that went away. Maybe once he delivers the ring to Mordor, they're done with him. I have no idea, although that happened in like the 50s. Just so much experience. That's what really sticks out here, Spence, that we are familiar with how these players play on the field with every single starter not named Kingsley Suamatia. Although we believe he's going to just be a road grader right out of the gate. We're not like, I don't know, we got to see him play. Like, Kingsley Suamatia, there might be police reports by how violent his offensive line play might be. You know what I mean? Like, he is so fun to watch on the field. Okay, then in the secondary, just so much experience. You love Caleb Hayes and Gabe Judy-Lally at one end, D'Angelo Mandel, Jacob Robinson, who had 3 picks at safety, now a corner, certainly corner a little different. Excited to see what Jacob Robinson's like at corner. Free safety, we know about Malik Moore. We know about Hayden Livingston, who had a pick in that game against Arizona. Strong safety. Ammon Hanneman played a bunch last year.
Yeah, that's a surprise for me.
Right. People may have not noticed him a ton. He's a Hanneman, okay? Micah, Jacob, and now Ammon, BYU football / baseball players, they're super athletic. Obviously, the linebackers, you really like what's there. 4 listed, right, because BYU plays the 3-4. Ben Bywater, Max Tooley, Keenan Peely, Peyton Wilgar. BYU actually plays a 4-3, correction there. So it depends what scheme they're in. But you love those guys. Max Tooley, probably the most underrated piece on the defense from fall camp, by the way.
Okay.
We have not talked about Max Tooley enough. We should have. Braden Cosper's that guy probably on offense, where he's going to have like 4 for 38 against UCF, and you're like, I don't even know who that is. Now you do. You know before the game, okay? That's what pops. I do have a question, which I'll get to in a second, that I want to address with the depth chart and depth. But it's nice to just know who's there and expect a certain thing that is pretty high level from most of these guys.
I can't recall a time I ever was wondering, well, what's the offensive line going to look like when the depth chart comes out? But that's what it was. Like, the first thing I wanted to see was, well, who are the starters on the offensive line? Because that's been a major talking point leading up to this moment. They've got 8 guys we think could all start. Who are the 5 that are going to get the nod? And even still, Jarom, we're not really buying into what's on the depth chart.
Yeah, I believe at right guard and right tackle, it will be a little different than what's listed.
Yeah, that is my number one takeaway is,
that's okay.
Wow, we thought we would get this, but no, we're still not for sure of the 5 that are actually going to start against South Florida on Saturday.
Why, like, who do the coaches owe truth regarding the depth chart? Why are they like, oh, well, we have to be honest in all our dealings with our fellow men? So that's not deceptive. That's just gamesmanship. And I don't know the motivations or care. I'm just telling you what I think it'll be on that first snap.
I kind of feel like a movie trailer just came out, and like there are some big stars, but I'm like, no. Who are the supporting actors? who are the best?
I want to know
who are the supporting actors in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, who's available right now?
There's a lot of great supporting actors in this movie.
On the other side of the ball, we've talked a lot about the biggest question mark. Yesterday, Trevor Matich said, it hasn't changed for me. It's still, how is BYU going to be more disruptive on the defensive front with the 4 down linemen? And we feel like that group is probably led by Tyler Batty and Gabe Summers, right?
Yes. And our hope is that Lorenzo Fautea, finally healthy, extra year.
That dude has dealt with
17th
so many
season
injuries.
at BYU, it feels like.
And he's going to church on Sunday.
For Lopa.
Yeah, that's right.
Lopa is at church every Sunday. That was so great. Yes, I'm not sure I expect disruption from the defensive line, Spence. What I want is just super solid play stuffing the run so that the backers can come up and make a play. That's what the system is. Certainly we want sacks and TFLs or forced fumbles and picks, question mark, from the D-line. I don't really expect that. I don't need disruption. What I need is really stout run defense.
Assignment sound run defense. And that's where it starts and ends.
Yes. And then on 3rd and long, where it's totally a pass play, that, yeah, Tyler Batty can get after the quarterback, make a couple of game-changing sacks. That would be great. Listen, when it's not 3rd down, a lot of times the ball comes out quick. So it's tough to get a sack. We've talked with Elias Tuyaki about this. So D-line, it's nice to have that experience. By the way, a couple names to watch this season of guys that haven't played a ton but may play way more this year. John Nelson's a freak athletically. Also Blake Mangelson.
Yeah,
okay?
Blake Mangelson.
Blake Mangelson is interesting. Now, Fisher Jackson as well. He's got that big elbow like brace. Nobody looks cooler than the guy with either the neck roll or the elbow brace. You don't mess with those guys, okay? Don't mess with Fisher Jackson.
I want Houston Heimuli and Mason Wake both to wear the neck pad.
Okay, you know who wears, like, the neck roll? Carter Wheat. But that's because he was getting some stingers in 2020, and they suggested, hey, to avoid those in the future, you wear that. He's number 96 at tight end. Watch Carter Wheat this season, which would be fun. Okay, here's my question, Spence. Last year, the issue was defensively was when BYU, especially at linebacker, got hurt.
Yes.
There was a real drop-off from 1 to 2.
Who's up? Who's next?
Let's talk about the backups and talk about how we feel in terms of experience and ability, okay? Ben Bywater, his backup's Jackson Kafusi. He's a junior now. He's been around.
Yes.
I'm excited to see when he's in, which, by the way, these backups play. Remember, BYU would rather have the backups at 100% than the starters at like 70% in there. So you have these sort of hockey line changes that happen sometime that are pretty unique to BYU. So Jackson Kafusi, okay, excited to watch him play a little more.
Yeah, not worried about that drop-off.
Yes.
I think Jackson's there.
Yes. Tavita Gagne, just haven't seen him play. We just need to see him play. Apparently he's had a great fall camp. He's gone from like, we don't even know his name to backup. So that's a big deal. Keenan Peely, his backup's Pepe Tanuvasa. Pepe had been on the defensive line.
Pepe made some plays in some big games.
Navy, notably 2020, all over the place. Pepe Tanuvasa. Bodie Schoonover had a really nice fall camp, we're told. Freshman, American Fork, part of that. There's an influx of cavemen coming in, by the way, which is exciting. You have Chase Roberts, you have Bodie, you have Devin Downing, who I think is kind of gray-shirting this year. He's a big-time receiver like Chase, back from a mission. And then behind Peyton Wilgar, Jackson Kafusi listed. Tate Romney's there as well, a freshman off a mission. Typically, you just don't want to have to use the freshman off mission like Bodie and Tate in this case. Hopefully, they'll get a great year of experience where they don't have to make a lot of plays right now because you do have a ton of experience there. Next year, BYU, we think, could lose Keenan Peely and Peyton Wilgar and Max Tooley. So there will be a dearth in that place for these guys to step into. But I hope that those guys, and I think they are, ready should they be needed, where BYU is not as banged up like they were against UAB, and you're not on skates in the run game. UAB ran for like 223 in that game. That can't happen.
Where is BYU the thinnest on the depth chart is the other question that I have. Because I had a hard time trying to focus in on that specific group. And the starting linebackers are great, but I thought, well, maybe it's linebacker because of what had happened last year. But I don't feel like BYU now they're clearly not as thin as they were at linebacker going into the UAB game. There's more experience there. Maybe it's on the defensive line. Maybe.
I don't know. I think the depth's pretty good there. I think you have like 6 guys that have started a bunch. I don't know that BYU's thin anywhere, but the linebackers sort of the backups have this sort of like, we've got to show you that we're pretty good thing. We believe they'll be good, but there's no spot where I go, eesh, that's like they're going to get destroyed. No. That doesn't exist. The BYU's very experienced and strong all over the board. And why wouldn't they? 10 wins last year. You returned the most experience in the country. Why wouldn't we feel very confident about this roster?